let's talk about the holdouts and what you can tell me. First things first, can you interpret this Stephen Jones comment when he was asked about the pay Micah chants that the Jones family was hearing from the stands, from the fans in Oxnard? Can you interpret this for me, please?
Did you hear the fans yelling "Pay Micah" yesterday? And what do you think when you hear that?
It doesn't change anything. I mean, we want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to be paid.
What does that mean? He's got to want to be paid in your mind, in your reporting, Albert?
I mean, I think so. To me, this goes back to last year. And one of the things the Cowboys have gotten a lot of criticism for is not going in early on these deals, right? Like, so they had to pay a price for doing CeeDee Lamb after 4 years instead of 3. They had to pay a price for waiting on Dak Prescott. And now they're going to have to pay a price for doing Micah Parsons now rather than having doing his contract after 3 years. That's reality, right? Like, it costs more now, could cost $45 million per year now, or maybe you'd be talking about 36 or 37 last year. I think what Stephen Jones is alluding to here is whether or not Micah Parsons was willing to do a deal last year. So I think that that's sort of where it's at. And I think and I don't think they were unwilling to do a deal last year, but I think they were unwilling maybe to do a deal on the Cowboys' terms last year. So that's part of the history now. So when he asks for more money now, it's a part of like being an NFL player is I took an extra season of injury risk on. So like any discount you were going to get is out the window now, you know? So I think this is kind of, this is Steven alluding, I think, to the big picture of the last 2 off seasons and not where they are right now.
Okay. The OG of your alma mater's wide receiver class in Terry McLaurin showed up. He's in. Does that mean something's close? What can you tell me there with Washington and McLaurin?
Well, I think he doesn't want to pay the fines anymore.
Okay.
So that's part of it.
That's it. Simple. Okay.
$50,000 a day is not great. And I don't know. I honestly don't know if you're having much more of an effect by holding out than you would be by holding in. I think some players would argue a hold in is more painful for the team because like it's right in front of everybody's like face every day that he's not out there, you know? So, yeah, I think they still have a ways to go on this. I just have a hard time imagining the conclusion won't be Terry McLaurin is a Washington Commander now and is a Washington Commander for the foreseeable future. Maybe, I mean, maybe there are some more bumps along the way. But I think really what this is a result, and it's sort of similar to Trey Hendrickson this way. It's a result of the market exploding at the position and the top end getting so far above where it was. And then how do you fill in the guys that maybe are a notch below? So for instance, like, you know, what Myles Garrett and TJ Watt get make it more difficult to slot in Trey Hendrickson because Hendrickson's not what those guys are, but how close is he, right? And now you have this gap between one and the other. And then I think, you know, what ends up happening is guys like Max Crosby and Danielle Hunter do deals, and that helps color what you're going to pay Trey Hendrickson. And the same thing with Terry is like when Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb did that deal, they created this gap. And so where does he fit in? You know, in that way, I think, you know, one I know he's looked at is DK Metcalf. Like, I think he feels like he deserves to be paid what DK Metcalf was in Pittsburgh. And now, like, the Garrett Wilson deal sort of confirms that the DK Metcalf deal, that's just where the market is for the guys who might be slightly below the very top level. So I think this gets done. I think the question is probably going to be on the guarantee and how far out you guarantee him, but he's just too important to them, you know, and he's too much of a part of what DQ and AP are building there. And to me, like, I'd even put it this way. You've been around him, Rich. Like, he's too symbolic of what they're trying to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
he's as good as they come. He's as good as they come in terms of a person, in terms of locker room, in terms of, you know, hey, you ball out here, you get paid. He's crucial in Jaden Daniels' second year. So, and again, I know I'm over time with you right now. You want to quickly? You were leading yourself to Trey Hendrickson. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think the Trey one, like, so this one, it sounded like last weekend they were closing in on maybe getting something done, and then on Monday, so that'd be a week ago today, the whole thing kind of blew up on them. So I don't think they're back to zero, but I think it does sort of indicate how volatile this thing has been and how up and down this thing has been. And to me, I think like one of the real issues is the Bengals' past precedents. And they broke those precedents to sign Joe Burrow 2 years ago. They broke those precedents to sign Jamar Chase earlier this year. And then they signed T. Higgins to a more conventional Bengals deal. So if you're the Bengals, which bucket do you put Trey Hendrickson in? Because he's older, you probably put him in the Higgins bucket, right? But do you think Trey Hendrickson wants to hear that after fighting for a contract for 3 off seasons? So I think as much of this as anything is figuring out how to bridge that gap, that divide, and what the contract looks like from a guarantees and structure standpoint. And then I think for the Bengals, honestly, I think it's like just finding a way to make it look like he won, because I do think part of it, there's a pride element to this too, for all players who go through these sorts of things. And he's gone through it again, 3 off seasons in a row. So I think finding a way to make sure that Trey Hendrickson looks like he got something out of this and that he won, I think could be a key to getting a deal done too, because I don't think they're that far off.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.